welcome back to Adam's Carding, and today I've got yet another announcement to make with the state of which how things are going, if that statement makes any sense at all. Basically, what has happened is I have made some progress. That doesn't sound normal. Normally, I just sit around for months worrying about one particular thing and hoping that it might be something simple, even though it looks like something complicated, and then turns out it's nothing. That's usually the way it happens. But no, I've actually made some progress now. So basically, what I've done this week is I have cleaned out my airbox. So the airbox is basically it's this small black box, basically, that sits on the side of the cart, and as you are going along around the track, it has air in it, and it feeds that air into the engine and helps cool it down. That's as far as I know. Not 100% on that, but I think that's relatively, mostly accurate as to what it does. But that was in a filthy state. It was so dusty, it looked like you could probably get some form of lung cancer if you breathed in that dust. It was so foul. So I got out a bucket. And I put some heavy duty car wash in it that I used when I just cleaned my car the week before. And just last week I did. And so I used that same car wash and I put it in the bucket, and I made it all soapy, so that way it would actually clean something. And I put it in, and I used I put the airbox in there, and I used a wheel washer. It's like this little scrub. It's about probably about so big roughly, and this end here, this bit, is all Brussels sort of thing, and you use it to get into the crevices, and you go it's like a twisting sort of motion that you use to get the really thin bits of dirt or brake dust on the alloys of your car. I used that and used that to wipe off most of the dust, and then I used an old toothbrush that I haven't touched or used at all in about 6 months, that I've been meaning to throw out for a long time, but I saw that and I was like, I'll be able to use that. So basically, I used an old toothbrush that I haven't used in a long time, and it's the same sort of brush you'd use to wash the wheels of your car with, and by dunking the airbox in heavy duty car wash, I washed it out completely. So that's all done now. And I have also done another big-ish thing. Basically, the floor of the cart, and I'll attach some photos during editing, so that way you can see what I'm talking about. The floor of the cart, and what I mean by that is not the chassis, underneath the chassis even. There's at the very front of the cart where there's this little footrest area, and then you've got the brake and the accelerator. Below that, where things like the fuel tank, for example, sit on, that is bolted on. And you can unbolt that and take it out. You can slide it off the cart, so then your cart doesn't have a floor on it anymore. And so I took that out because it was filthy as. But the other reason I took that out is because I am going to be replacing the fuel tank. So that's something that I'm going to be doing next week sometime, because again, I'm filming very late at night again. It's really the only time I can film now is on a Sunday, is late at night. So yeah, every Sunday at usually 8 to 8:30 is when I'm filming. Not in terms of it takes me half an hour. That's when I start, is either between 8 or 8:30 is when I start. Usually I'll end at 8:30 to 9, depending on when I start, and I go to bed at 9:30. So the last thing I do before I call it quits and call it a night is film a video on a Sunday. So it's very, very late. So yeah. But basically, I'll get back on topic. With the floor of the cart, you took that off with what was it? It was like Allen's. It was like Allen key things that I put on the ratchet on the ratchet, and I had an extension bar on there, and I was sitting there whiling away trying to get it off. And I did eventually. It was a bit of a hassle. Way easier than I thought it was going to be. When I first looked at it, I was like, oh, this is going to be difficult. But no, it was actually really easy. So, yeah, that was very good. However, I'm not finished yet. So I've got the floor out, but now what I need to do, which I'm going to be doing next week, is I need to replace the fuel tank, which I've got the replacement fuel tank for it. But also to get rid of the fuel tank, I also need to get rid of all the fuel lines, which I haven't done yet. I don't remember if I said that I had done that in another video. I might have, but if I did, disregard that. I was wrong. I have not done it yet. If I said that in another video, then disregard that. If I didn't say it, then yeah, I haven't done it yet. And those fuel lines are so filthy. It's just ridiculous how filthy they are. So basically, I need to get out the fuel tank now, which the fuel tank itself isn't going to be too difficult to get rid of. The difficulty is the fuel lines. Those are where things are going to get really messy. So I'm going to be taking those out Monday and Tuesday, I would say. That's probably a 2-day job, mainly just because the amount of messiness that the fuel lines are going to cause, I really want to dedicate a whole day to just cleaning up after myself, because it's going to be really, really messy. But yeah, so I just wanted to give a bit of an update, a lot shorter video than normal, because not a huge amount was done this week. I had some complications. I don't need to go into it because it's detail that you're not going to want to hear about. But basically, due to some bodily conditions that I was going through, that are temporary, that aren't a big deal, but mean that it's very difficult to work on the go-kart. Because of that, a lot of work wasn't done this week. So I'm all over it now, and I'm going to be going at it way stronger than I was this week, next week, to make sure that I do more than I did this week, because I literally didn't do anything on Saturday. Normally what I do is, if I have any snippets of time during like Monday to Friday, I'll work on it, but otherwise I go full throttle on Saturday and Sunday. That's when I get all the work done. But I do still get work done on Monday to Friday, just not as much as normal. Sometimes I don't do any work Monday to Friday, sometimes I do a bit of work, but basically 95% of the work that I do is on Saturday and Sunday. Well, Friday afternoon, sometimes, and then Friday, Saturday. But yeah, so pretty much, I just want to get back on topic. Basically, what I need to do next, that was something that I really wanted to talk about. Once the fuel line and the fuel tank is replaced and the fuel lines are replaced, I need to do something quite big, which is I need to take out the carburetor. The carburetor is kind of a big deal. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it at all. It is kind of a big deal, the carburetor. It's a pain to take out, it's a pain to take apart. I'm probably gonna have to replace the spark plug. That's gonna be the easiest part of the whole thing. Replacing the spark plug is literally gonna be the easiest part of this entire thing. I'm dead serious. It's literally gonna be the easiest thing. You literally just take it out and put the new one in. The rest of it is going to be so much more difficult than that. Like, I can't even begin to describe just how difficult it... Like, I'm not trying to paint this as, like, this is the most difficult thing. Taking off the carburetor of a go-kart is the most difficult thing you can possibly do in the entire world. No, that is not true. Not even close. However, when you have a really old go-kart that is in crap condition, it doesn't even start... I mean, there's numerous reasons for why it doesn't start, one of which it doesn't even have an exhaust attached to it currently, but and the engine doesn't even have fuel in it. But apart from those reasons, there are countless others which are all like mechanical reasons as to why it doesn't work. It's kind of a big problem because you'd think about it, right? Considering the condition of the rest of the car, which is pretty crap, what's the condition of the carburetor going to be like? Not going to be too crash hot, I don't think. My prediction is that it's not going to be too crash hot, and the result of that is that it's going to be a massive pain to get out because there's going to be dirt and grit and just crap everywhere. That is my prediction. I would like if that is not true. I would love if that is not true. However, I suspect that is probably true. So that's pretty much it. So as of right now, what I've done this week, which I only worked on the go-kart on Sunday, and I really hate myself for it, but I had complications. I don't need to go into detail. No one cares. Or no one wants to hear it either. But yeah, so those issues meant that I could only work on Sunday. So this week, yeah, not a lot was done. All I really did was just take out the floor of the car and clean it. I degreased it and cleaned it. That was it. But then, as of what I'm going to be doing next week, I'm going to be taking out the fuel tank and replacing the fuel lines, and obviously replacing the fuel tank as well. And then what I'm going to be doing after that is moving on to the really big thing, which is taking out the carburetor. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. No, I'm not looking forward to that. But it's got to be done, so I'm just going to knuckle down and do it. And besides, it's probably not even going to be happening this week. Maybe it will be. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll be making a video next Sunday, and we'll see what happens then. So that's basically it now. Much shorter video than usual. Just, yeah, not a lot happened. So, yeah. Alright. Well, yeah, that's all. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.